Hello, you lovely people on the internet, and welcome to a new video. Today, I will be sharing some controversial opinions in the reading habits tag. I've seen this tag all over YouTube, and I absolutely love it because I love knowing people's reading habits and how they like to read and where they like to read. I think it's really interesting. Also, I think I have some controversial habits, so let's get into it. So question number one, do you have a certain place at home for reading? I love reading in my bed, although I have to switch place. I couldn't for the longest time read on my bed because I would fall asleep, I would get sleepy. So now I have to read on the other side of the bed from where I actually have my head when I sleep. That is usually facing the window now. I love reading in the armchair in the living room where we are right now. I love reading on the sofa. I just need a comfortable chair or a sofa or a bed, and then I will be happy. But I can read anywhere. Even on the floor. I like reading on the floor. Okay, question number two, bookmark or random piece of paper? A bookmark. I will use a random piece of paper if I can't find my bookmark and if I'm not at home, because I have many bookmarks. So I have a favorite style of bookmark. So for example, I have my favorite book, currently my favorite bookmark right here. It's this little page and it says books and coffee are the answer, and it's by 11 Books, which is my favorite secondhand bookshop. I will leave their links down below. I love them. Their stuff is the best. I adore them so much. They make these bookmarks and you get one bookmark with every purchase. I love this size of bookmark. This is the perfect paper because it's bendable but still not too papery. It's the perfect size which fits perfectly, and I like it peeking just a little bit from the book so that I can hide it if need be. Okay, these are my favorite bookmarks, and also the ones that Book Depository sends with their with every order. Those are also great size. Some of my favorite bookmarks that I use and come back to over and over are from the Book Depository. Question number three, can you just stop reading or do you have to stop after a chapter / a certain amount of pages? I can stop anytime. I just have to at least finish the sentence. Of course, I love finishing at the end of the chapter, but if I can't, or if chapters are long, I hate long chapters in books. I try to go to the end of the paragraph or when there's a break in the page so that I know where to continue on. But I can stop anywhere. I just have to finish a sentence. Question number four, do you eat or drink while reading? I do. I drink either water or tea or coffee. Those are like the three beverages that I drink, actually. It depends on what kind of book the book is, like the physical aspects of the book. But yeah, I can drink while reading, and with eating, I can snack. But I either eat all of it at once or I don't eat it at all because I cannot pace myself like while reading. It's not like I care too much about messing up my book, because I don't. Question number five, multitasking, music or TV while reading? TV, not if I am watching it. Like, I can be in a room where TV is playing and read, but also it depends on the kind of book. Like if I'm reading a classic, I can't really read while somebody is talking in the background because I have to concentrate really hard on classics, and I want to concentrate really hard on classics. But it's not like I would put on the TV and go and read along with it. I can't do that. And music, yes, especially if I'm on a train and there are people talking, then I will put on some music in. Usually it's some sort of instrumental. I love, especially with classics, I love listening to the soundtrack. If there was a movie or a TV series made from the book that I'm reading, I love listening to the soundtrack while reading the book. So when I was reading Vanity Fair or Jane Eyre, I loved listening to the film soundtracks. Especially, oh my god, with Jane Eyre in the 2011, or what year was it, the movie came out with Mia Wasikowska and Michael Fassbender. I loved listening to the soundtrack along while reading the book. It heightened my enjoyment from the book so much. It was great. So I definitely recommend listening to the soundtrack specifically made for the book. It's great. Okay, question number 6. One book at a time or several at once? I have phases where I read more books at once or just one. I usually have a physical book and an audiobook. So most of the time I just listen to the book that I'm reading, and if there's an audiobook with it, I will listen to the audiobook of said book while doing chores or going on a walk with my dog. But I do also sometimes read another book, but it can't be like from the same genre. Like if I'm reading a classic, I can't read another classic on audiobook as well. I probably could, but I don't want to. Like right now I'm reading a classic, and the book that I'm listening to on audio is, oh my god, how many books am I listening to on audio? Is The Black Flamingo by Dean Ada, which is a contemporary autobiography novels told in verse, read by the author, and it's incredible, and I'm still reading it. It's like 3 hours. I could have been done with it weeks ago, but I'm still not. Right now I'm trying to just have one book in physical and ebook form and one audiobook, so that I have two. It depends on the book really and on my mood. Okay. Question number 7. Reading at home or everywhere? What do you mean by everywhere? I love reading at home, but I can go to a cafe and read at a cafe. I can read while I'm waiting for a class to start at school. I can read in the waiting room at the doctor's. I can read at the bus stop. I can read on the train, but I can't read in a car or a bus. I will get car sick. I get car sick very easily. I can get car sick just from being in a car for 10 minutes and looking at my phone for 2 minutes. So I realized that I also can't listen to audiobooks in a car, which is the worst possible combination, because audiobooks were made for listening to in a car, and I can't do it because I still have to focus, and I think my body just can't focus on 2 things at once. I love reading on the beach. I miss reading on the beach. So yeah, I can read basically everywhere but moving a vehicle. Question number 8. Reading out loud or silently in your head? No, I don't read out loud. No, sometimes I try it, but I read silently in my head. So. Question number 9. Do you read ahead or even skip pages? What I sometimes do is I read the last page or the last 2 sentences of a novel. I do that with Cassandra Clare's books. I read the last, 2-3 sentences. But skip pages, sometimes when I'm rereading something, whenever I reread Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, which is one of my all-time favorite books, it means so much to me. And I know it's problematic in some sort, and Rainbow Rowell is problematic. I am aware of that, but Fangirl just brings so much comfort to me. And Fangirl, other than the general story, you have these pages which are the fan fiction that the main character writes. And I don't care about those pages enough to read them, so I usually skip those parts. That's the only time that I skip pages. I don't skip paragraphs. I don't skip sentences. Not really. Number 10. Breaking the spine or keeping it like new? I break the spine. Oh my god, look at that. Oh, that's cute. That's gorgeous. Oh my. I don't care. I love my books looking like they've been read. If the book has a very broken spine and it's battered, if the book is battered, then you know that I brought it everywhere with me and that I really enjoyed it. If the book doesn't have a broken spine, it's either very floppy, or I didn't care enough, or I read it on audiobook. I do break the spine. I don't want to be uncomfortable while reading, especially like with this one. It was inevitable. Oh my god! Oh, I love it. I wouldn't break a spine of a book that I borrowed, though. Never. And the last question, number 11. Do you write in your books? Yes, I do. I do write in my books. I love writing in my books. Look, this is nice. This is so good. Oh my, yes. And I also dog ear my books. Jane Eyre is the prime example of this. Look at that. There's so many. There's like, oh, F you. Stop calling her, what is this? Stop calling her your little girl, it's annoying. I do write in my books. I write in my books, I dog ear most of the time. Sometimes I don't dog ear just because there may be just too many remarks where I've written something or underlined, so that I don't want the book to be too clouded over, like with this one. You can see that I started dog earing and then I slowly stopped and started to like interchange, like if I do the top or bottom. I usually do the bottom. Sometimes there's just too many, so I don't, and it would be like just corners everywhere. And sometimes the paper might be too thick on a book. Sometimes I don't feel like dog earing. Sometimes I don't feel like writing in my book. Usually it's the books that I care about a lot and the books that I really enjoy and I want to delve deeper into. I will write into those and they will look awful and battered and stuff like that. It depends. It depends. For example, in Fangirl, there is something written on every single page, almost every single page, and underlined and written over and talked over the characters and having a whole conversation with them. But I haven't done a single dog ear in that book. In Vanity Fair, there's a lot of written in the margins and annotated, but there's not a single dog ear. It just depends, really, but usually, yes, I dog ear and I write in my books. If I don't write in the book, I don't care. I think books, after you've read them, you leave something in them, and you should leave something of yourself in them if the book means at least a little something in you. And I think annotating is the easiest. I think there's a different experience to a book when you've annotated it. I will make a whole video on that. I will make a whole video on annotating and how I annotate and why I annotate and stuff like that. So that's it for the video. I hope you learned something new about me, and I really hope your blood is boiling at this point with looking at my battered books. But I love them. I love the aesthetic of a battered book and torn to shreds and so. No, not really. I would never like tear a page from a book. I wouldn't do that. I'm not a barbarian, really. If you liked this, make sure to give it a thumbs up down below. Leave me a comment if you share some of the habits that I share. The main things I want to know is, do you write in your books? Do you dog ear your books? And do you break the spine? And if you don't, tell me why. Maybe you like your books pristine clean. If you liked this and if you like my chaotic personality, then make sure to subscribe. And I will see you next time. Bye!